Sarah Atherton.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Firstly, the Armed Forces Bill is an excellent bill, much needed, and will improve the lives of service personnel whilst modernising our military for the future. And I support this bill and commend the Minister for getting it through so far. But I'd like to focus on the Lord's Amendment 1 of the Armed Forces Bill, which would see murder, manslaughter and rape with penetration tried in a civilian court. The House is already aware that Defence Select Committee's inquiry into the experiences of women in armed forces opened up a catalogue of harrowing evidence around sexual assault, rape, gang rape, poor standards of investigation, manipulation of power to deliberately disadvantage servicewomen from complaining or seeking justice. Indeed, the Defence Select Committee concurred with the recommendations of the government-commissioned, judge-led Lyons Review, which stated that rape should be heard in civilian courts. Given the evidence, I do not believe the proposed concurrent jurisdiction protocol will be good enough to cut through the laddish culture which is entrenched within the military system as it stands. Now, I welcome the Minister's comments about transparency, but I fail to see how collecting even more data on serious offences, as proposed by the MOD, will translate into improvements for the outcomes of victims of rape. And as my honourable friend from North Dorset explored, I'd like to see actually how we are going to improve the lot for women in our military based on collecting data. But I am pleased with the establishment of the Defence Serious Crimes Unit, which is a mammoth step forward for the Ministry of Defence. Now, last week, the House rejected the amendment which would have mandated all rape cases to be heard under civilian jurisdiction, except in extraordinary circumstances, as determined by the Attorney-General. The MOD rejected this on the basis it would politicise the process. The amendment proposed today accepts and rectifies this by leaving the responsibility for the decision-making to the Director of Public Prosecutions after consultation only with the Attorney-General. Now, this removes a barrier to the MOD's objection, and I fail to be convinced by the argument of expeditionary salami slicing. This amendment will mean rape cases perpetrated in the UK will primarily be heard in civilian courts unless under exceptional circumstances. Mr Deputy Speaker, I know the 4,200 women who contributed to the Defence Select Committee's inquiry, people up and down the country, whether military or civilian, men or women, who believe in British values of fairness and justice, would wish for the MOD to consider this point. Thank you.
Sir John